It's time for the Sideman Show. I'm your host, Bear. Sit back, relax, get something to eat, get something to drink. We're going to go right into this show today. My special guest is on board and ready to go. Let's get to it right now. All right, welcome to the Sideman Show. We are thrilled today because we have one of our heroes on the show, and I know John McGlesson and myself are both freaks on this guy. Welcome to the show, Tony McAlpine. Tony, how you doing?
What's happening, Mike? How you doing?
Well, I'm thrilled because, John and I, of course, have been waiting for this interview for a couple weeks, and Carol sent us all the music, and we've been digging on it, man. You're rocking.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Now, you've had a long and killer career. You've played for a lot of different people. Give the audience out there, if you just, if you can, if you wouldn't mind, just running down the list of some of the people you've worked with. It's incredible.
Well, you know, my very first record, I worked with Billy Sheehan and Steve Smith. Billy Sheehan at that time was in David Lee Roth's band.
Yeah.
And Steve was in Journey.
Just a little band.
Way back.
You might have heard of him.
You know what I mean? And after that, I did a record called Project Driver.
Yeah.
With Rudy Sarzo and Tommy Aldrich of Ozzy Osbourne camp.
Yeah, just a couple hacks. Now, Tommy, you know, he goes way back too. Black Oak, Arkansas, even. I mean, I saw him when I was a kid.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
What a drummer, man.
Yeah.
And Rudy's great bass player.
He still looks exactly the same. This guy has never aged.
I know. What is up with that? I saw him at the NAMM show, and it was like, wow, he looks exactly the same.
You know what I mean? It's bizarre.
Tiger's blood.
Yeah, and just, you know, along the way, just, you know, various instrumental records, you know, and worked with so many cats. Dean Castronovo, who's now in Journey, and oh my gosh, you know, George Lynch, and you know, from Dawkins, and Jeff Pilson, who was a Night Ranger, and
wow,
you know, and up to late, as recently, you know, my new record, which you know, has Virgil Donati on it, and I've worked with Virgil Donati in so many bands, Planet X, you know, Ring of Fire.
Yeah.
And Virgil and I worked together with the French superstar Michel Polnareff. We did that tour in 2007.
Wow.
And that was just an amazing tour to be out there with the French pop star. It was a lot of fun.
You've done everything.
You know,
I mean, I don't know what else. You know, you covered just about every genre there is. I mean,
I try to anyway. Yeah, there's a lot more to do. I got to work my way to hip hop now.
I believe you will too. That's what's cool. I think you know, and actually that'd be kind of cool the way you play to mix that with some hip hop would be really cool. Well,
hook me up with Lil Wayne if you meet him soon.
Well, Lil Wayne, there you heard it. It's on the air. And Snoop Dogg, all you cats.
There you go. Snoop, yeah.
Mr. T has got his guitar ready to go.
Mike, I'll go out there with a talk box.
I love it. Dude, this album you just did is, I think, some of the best work you've done in years. I mean, this is incredible.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, the record, you know, had the good fortune of working with Virgil Donati again, and working with Philip Bino again, and working with Marco Minimum for the first time. You know, it was just a wonderful kind of setup, just being able to do that and going in there and getting it done.
What was the process for you, Tony, when you were writing? I mean, did the songs just kind of come to you all at once, or are you one of those guys that gets it in bits and pieces and then puts it together?
It's a writing process for me. It's a very long, you know, artist approach. It's a tough thing, really. It's something that I spend lots of hours with, really. And I write songs and I listen to them and I pass on them or I correct them or, you know, or I just don't even use them. And some of them come quick and some of them really don't ever come at all. So there really is no set thing. That's when I get something actually together, I like to try it with the band and see how that really works. With the instrumental records, you really quite, most of the time you don't quite have that luxury to do that. You really have to, you know, have something prepared, and you're generally working against somebody else's schedule, you know, to have them as a guest on the record. And so I was lucky in this record that it took me about a year really to write everything, get everything going. Now
you were touring obviously in between that too, and were you trying out this music on the crowds?
I've never done that. I've never done it, even though it happens anyway when a record comes out. But I've never tried it out when people are really expecting something different.
Yeah.
I just kind of get the material ready and you know, get it happening. But you know, it was a fun record. We had it mixed by you know, Ulrich Wild, and mastered by Dave Collins. So you know, these really guys, they got great ears.
Well, man, the sonic quality on it's incredible. It's a killer record, and I can't wait to have people jump on your site and buy this, because the album is just, it's so far out there at points. I mean, your time signatures and stuff too. I don't know where you come up with it, but it's just beautiful. I mean, the fluidity of the music, the guitar tones. Let's talk about your guitar tones, because now, what kind of gear are you using these days? Because it's incredible, the tone you got in the studio.
Well, sure. The sound. I'm still with Hughes and Kettner, and I've been with them for quite a while. And what you're hearing on the record, you know, when I'm actually in the studio, process. I like to use the all-tube heads, the Triumph heads.
Yeah.
And the Triumphs are, 3-stage amplifiers, independent of each other. 100-watt head. Sounds very, very, very full.
Yeah.
Very, very effective amplifier, very clear. And I use 212 speakers. I use, the C212s that they make.
Really? So you're not using a 412 cabinet?
Yeah,
is it an open back or?
No, they're closed back cabinets. Wow. And I also have an Electro Voice cabinet that I kind of use too, but it's in a smaller custom-made box. But I concentrated really primarily with the HKs. Well, sometimes I'll jump things around for just different sound quality, when you're stacking guitars.
Right.
But for the most part, that really was the setup. It's a very simple setup. There's no effects, nothing.
Really? Just straight into the amp?
Oh yeah. Everything's added later, when it's mixed. And when it's mixed, I have an idea of where I want to go. When everything is recorded, I kind of do, like setup mixes so the engineer can hear where I'm really trying to go.
Right.
Use different plugins stuff. But everything is clean. It's just direct.
There's an intelligence to your music that almost borders on, like neoclassical. There's and what kind of music do you listen to? I mean, what do you listen to in a day?
Well, I started playing piano when I was 5, and stayed at the Springfield Conservatory of Music for 12 years, and Hart College of Music for 3 years, and did piano competitions and all that stuff, and that's never rubbed off. I spend on a good day, I can play piano all day long, and
wow.
So I'm still reading a lot of stuff. I played all the Beethoven sonatas and Chopin, sonatas and etudes and preludes and all that jazz. I love it. It's just something. It's like reading a book. For me, it's like reading a book. So that really gives me my experience of understanding what's going on with composition. I mean, it kind of spills over into my guitar stuff when I get to writing it. I think that's kind of how it works.
Wow, man! I'm in awe of that because you're one of those guys that can read fly shit on a piece of paper from 100 feet. I can't do that. I wish I could, but it just I envy that because you're able to really take in every kind of music that way. I mean, I wish I could read.
Well, it's never too late.
Oh, I think it's too late for me, brother.
I can give you some Skype lessons.
I would love that. Now, do you offer those? Do you offer lessons online or something?
I sure do. I do. Yeah, I do that all the time.
Well, let's advertise
I picked it up from a friend of mine that was doing that, and I thought it was a great idea because you're able to do these lessons all over the place. It's quite effective.
Man, the internet has been the great equalizer, has it not?
Yeah, sometimes it is. When it's working, it's it's our best friend.
Now, do you when you're out on the road, what do you carry in a pedal board, or do you use a pedal board live? I would assume.
Well, out on the road, that's the situation. In the studio, I'm using the Triumphs. Out on the road, I'm using Kettner core blades, and the core blades are using Kettner's tube head.
Yeah.
Which has independent effects built into the head itself. So all you really need is the actual. It looks like a MIDI controller that has 4 banks and an up and down indicator, and then a delay tap switch, so that you can alter the delay settings by tapping it.
Oh, cool!
And you have a plethora of banks to preset any of your sounds you want. You can utilize any of the effects you want in any order, and you can save that and back those sounds up to a flash drive or a computer.
Wow.
So all you really need are just the heads there, and you just go in and put your drive in there and download your set. And that's what we use live. We, myself and Neil use those heads. That's it. No other outboard gear at all.
That's incredible, man. I mean, that sound is so, I just love your tone.
Thank you. Yeah, well, these amps have come a long way.
Well, they've been a great amp. They've been a great amp company for years, and I know a lot of people use them. And good company. I mean, they're there's a lot of great companies out there, but when you find what works for you, man, that's what you stick with.
Oh yeah, I've used so many of them too, and I love the sound of all these different amplifiers. Marshall has such a classic sound, as we all know.
Yeah.
And using Kettner has always been able to bridge a certain gap with innovation and being able to incorporate these modern things with these gated amps that are so driven, but have these noise gates built in that they're virtually clean. There's absolutely no noise at all on the stage.
Wow. Well, that's unusual because with the old Marshalls, of course, it was like you had about 98 dB of shh.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
Kind of killed the the little sensitive moments in the music when all you can hear it's white noise from the amp. But
there you go.
What's your schedule like this year? Now you're going to be touring America and Europe.
Yes, we're looking at starting in Europe. We're going to go to Eastern Europe and do a bunch of dates and work around in the Eastern European continent, and then work our way into American support dates for some other guitar players, which we're trying to just really kind of nail down. And we're looking at probably the later part of the year to actually start hit the road.
Wow,
in support of the new record.
That's cool. Now, do you find it easier? I've traveled all over the world and been playing for 35 years, and I'm like you. I'm old. You're younger than me, but when you're out there, do you find it better in Europe as far as how they receive the music?
Well, I think it depends on the.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot. What I'm trying to get at, I've found that in America, it's a different mindset than Europe as far as the music and how it's received. And it's just
Correct.
A different kind of a vibe. In Europe, they seem to, they listen to everything.
Yeah, I mean, they're more underground, and they're more willing to search things out and look for them rather than having music, brought to their radio and their doorstep and saying this is the kind of music you have to listen to it, and that's the only thing there is.
Well said. There's
a lot more flexibility there because it's such an open door in terms of being able to find things. The other factor that lies in play is that there's a lot more clubs and places to actually play these different styles of music, and there's a little less of that here because it seems like we're more driven for the dance club and dance hall effect.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think that kind of plays into things a little bit, but you still have your spots, that you can you can nail things down and introduce something, and people can grab onto it. I think that also depends on the tour you're doing. We look at doing things in more of a package form,
Yeah.
Go out there with 3 or 4 different guitar players, and that seems to generate it. It's a little bit harder to go out just by yourself and try to do as well as you could do in Europe. If you compare it, if you go out by yourself in Europe, your chances of being are a lot more successful than trying to come out by yourself and do a package thing without that.
Sure.
So, there's a lot of truth to what you're saying.
And I'm finding it too. I'm not touring this year, obviously, because I'm doing the show. But do you find that? The gas prices are just killing people here in the States. I talk to my buddies every day, and they're like, "Geez, there's no money." And the economy's kind of down, and gas
sure
prices
can.
are hurting.
You notice that the gas prices are really high, and that's going to affect everything. And so my friends own restaurants, and they don't have people driving. When you have kids and you got, there's a necessity, you're thinking, okay, what are we going to do? We're going to go out to eat, or are we just going to save some extra money for the gas and go get your groceries? And that's kind of what happens. And people don't want to go out and see entertainment anymore simply because really they can't afford it. And, it's the cost of living has gone up, but meanwhile, we're not making as much money as we used to. So, this is all, the gas prices also seem like a yo-yo. One day they're low, the next day they're high, and I don't know who's controlling it. But
whoever is, they need to quit jerking us around, but that's a whole other show.
It's very true, very, very true. But we definitely see how that's affecting us. And not only that, generally we tour with a bus, and to gas up a bus, the prices of these buses have gone up now too because the price of the fuel is a lot higher. So
it's like $1,000 or more now to fill up a coach each time.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's a big expense.
yeah, it's a little rough.
Well,
but,
now that we've bummed everybody out, me and Tony here.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about something positive. How about your guitars? Tell me about what your setups are. What do you prefer in a guitar?
I'm using Ibanez, these Ibanez custom-made guitars that were made in the Southern California shop, and they are an alder body guitar with a rosewood neck, and it's a Strat style guitar. They're pretty custom made. I have an 8-string guitar and a 7-string that I'm using primarily.
Wow.
And the 8-string has EMG pickups in it, and it's an active guitar. It's a very heavy guitar.
Oh, bad.
And the 7-string is a bit lighter, but it has DiMarzio in it. DiMarzio tone pickups, tone 7s in there. And that's a great sounding instrument.
What string gauges are you running on yours?
Go ahead.
What string gauges are you running? I've had a couple of people wanting me to ask you that.
I'm using on the 8-string I use 7 to 68. 9 to 68. And on the 7-string I'm using 9 to 52. Wow. And 7-string uses Ibanez, makes a really nice bridge. But on the 8-string I have a custom-made Goto bridge that's made for me. They haven't made any other.
68. That's a thick ass string. That 68's like a bass string, man.
It is. It's a really full instrument. It has a really full sound, and I love to incorporate it in these. With the fullness and just the sonority of their sound is really something else too, because all the other strings really help the guitar sound even thicker.
Well, where can the fans reach you, and how can they get hold of you and see your stuff?
Well, they can always go to my website, which has links to Facebook and all that stuff, all that jazz and iTunes and all that. So, just go to, TonyMcAlpine.com.
Yep, and I'll have that up over the interview, folks, so you can look at it and grab it and go see Tony. Is there anything you'd like to say to your fans out there before we go, because we're about out of time?
I'd like to say thank you very much for the support over the years, and I hope to see each and every one of you out there on tour.
Awesome, man. We're going to take it out with a tune off the new record. And ladies and gentlemen, get out there and support this live music. This is some of the best live music you're ever going to hear. If you know Tony's in town, pick up the phone, call the venue, get yourself a ticket, and get your butt out of your couch and go down there and watch this, man. It's amazing. And also, we want to shout out to Malcolm McDowell. We have a Sideman Show over in Ireland, also in the UK. And definitely watch for Tony over there. Malcolm will be carrying the story over there for you too, Tony. So we're big supporters. Anything you need us to do, you just give us a shout, and it's up on our site. Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, and that's going to do it for this day's edition of The Sideman. Here's Tony McAlpine.